This is a quick overview of the load balancing feature on the Alisx platform. So let's say you've built a new console and it is working fine. You can access it on your cloudrun URL. So in my development environment, I can go to the project and go to cloudrun. And here's my console, and I can see that this URL is working perfectly fine. I can access it, and my very basic Vue.js app is displayed here. So all I had to do was use the one of the Alisx blocks to help me set this console up. But in essence, a very basic Go server that serves the Vue.js built distribution. But the only thing I now have to add to make this console, to add a custom domain that points to this console, is a new load balancing.tf file with a network endpoint group and a backend service that uses that network endpoint group. Now again, all of this code would most likely be part of one of the code blocks you're using specifically for console. So normally this is not something you need to worry about, but just so you're aware, this is what's going to enable the load balancing. So I did this, I ran a ls deploy, and if I go back to my Google project, I can actually see, if I go to load balancing, that in the project of the same cloudrun instance that I'm looking at here, and I go to backends, there I can see is my console v2 backend service. Great. So now the first step would be to actually have a managed domain that you can point to this cloudrun. So this is something only org admins are able to configure, but it's something that normally happens happens very rarely, and after they give access to the relevant product. So I came here to manage domains, I went to register, I put in my email, my phone, and then I just searched for a domain that I wanted, and you can see as you type try different domains, it will show you what's available, and then if you're happy, you just select it and register. And I've already done this. So the thing is, the registration takes about 5 to 10 minutes, and also after the registration, the SSL infrastructure is automatically deployed for this domain, and you can see the references to the actual Google resources under the hood, the Google DNS, the SSL infrastructure, the certificate, and you can see this domain is working fine. And then I just gave access to the product that I want to use this domain. Now you can give multiple products access to one domain. You can even create subdomains to split up a single domain that you bought and give different products access to different subdomains of that existing domain. And adding a subdomain is much quicker than registering a new one, and obviously it doesn't cost you more. But yes, first step, just have a managed domain ready and share it with the relevant product, and make sure its SSL infrastructure is all ready. After that, you can go to the relevant product, and you will see there is a routes feature, and on the root you will see all of your environments and any existing routes. So you can see I've already set up a root here that points sm.lovemarvel.com and spiderman.lovemarvel.com to my console v2 backend. And all I did was add root, and you can see I can see which domains are available, and I just typed in demo, for example, .lovemarvel.com, and let's say I made a spelling mistake and I said demo.lovemarvels.com. You'll get a warning saying this is not a domain this is not a managed domain or a subdomain of one of your managed domains, so this won't be allowed. And then for your list of backends, you should see this here when you click on the backend dropdown. So I've already done that, and maybe just to show you, I'll quickly edit this one. I'll remove the spidermanlovemole.com because I don't want people to use that anymore. And I just hit save, and you will see that the root then starts syncing under the hood. The Google load balancer, the URL map is updated, and the DNS records are changed. So either added, or in this case, the DNS record spiderman.lovemole.com is just removed. And this sync can take anywhere between 20 seconds to a minute. You can see that's all done. And yeah, just to show you that this actually works, this is the cloudrun URL. And since I've already done this earlier, this is the new nice domain pointing to my cloudrun. Few notes. Don't be alarmed when you see SSL errors or like immediately after creating a managed domain or immediately after adding a root. Going to that root, so like, let me show you quickly. If I say demo.lovemarvel.com, I add this as well as another domain that I want to point to this console, and I'll give it a moment to sync. And when I then go there, I'll just type this in so long, demo.lovemarvel.com. Let's check if this is all done. And a few more seconds. Clearly taking a bit longer for adding a new record than just removing one. But this should finish any moment. There we go. Now if I go there, I'm expecting to see SSL errors. And this has just got to do with how things are cached. I'm not going to go into too much detail, but basically after adding a managed domain or making some root changes, just give it a few minutes before you will actually see the root working with SSL and everything. So don't be too alarmed when you see this. Can be 5 minutes, can sometimes be an hour, or I've seen the extreme case of this taking a day, but that should really not happen. But this is just how SSL certificates and DNS record caching and those things work. But yes, this is a very brief overview of how to point your custom domain to your cloudrun backends. And these backends can also be buckets. You can use Google's backend buckets for hosting, let's say, static files or reports or those kind of things. And just one last note on the managed domains. Obviously, I went the route of registering one, which is very convenient. But if you've already got one, it's not a problem. You can just import it. And you can just, if the domain is registered on a Google DNS that you've got access to, you just give the Google project ID and DNS zone names here. Otherwise, just the domain that you maybe registered somewhere else, like GoDaddy or something, and then you import it, and you'll be guided through a few steps to just verify that that is actually your domain. But if this is all new, then the easiest way is just to register a domain via the Alisx platform.